It's that time again. Welcome to the More You NoCo, Northern Colorado's only regional podcast, bringing together the community north of Denver by spotlighting the awesome people of the area. Don't be scared, but today's guest makes some terrifying creations. You've got to check out our Facebook page or the Instagram and see some of the amazing work that this team has put out. This time we are joined by Ed Edmonds and Marsha Taub Edmonds of Distortions Unlimited. From aliens and axe murderers to giants and gargoyles, Distortions Unlimited makes a vast diversity of top quality models and animatronics for all kinds of occasions and events. Don't look behind you now. It is too late. I present to you Ed and Marsha.
Yeah, and technically I'm Ed, the wonderful Edmonds. No. Oh, stop laughing in there. Stop that.
Okay. Hello, listeners out there, and welcome to the More You NoCo. I sit here on site with Ed Edmonds and Marsha Taub Edmonds.
Yes.
And you all are owners of Distortions Unlimited, which I think is a kind of business that I will let you all talk about to give our listeners kind of a mental picture. And I'm going to throw up some photos on our social media because some of the things and the creations that you all have is just something that can't be talked about. It has to be seen.
You know, that's true. It's a very visual business.
So what is Distortions Unlimited?
Well, we make monsters of all kinds, from whatever it is, a bloody eyeball, up to, a 20-foot skeleton, and all sorts of aliens and creatures in between.
And when did this start?
1978.
And I saw from the website that, Ed, it seems like that you started it yourself.
Right.
In high school.
Yes.
And so was this just a fun project, or you just said, I'm tired of having a high school job, I want something for myself? Or?
Well, actually, it wasn't starting in high school. I started sculpting in high school, but then I was in college, and I was painting masks for a novelty shop, lost a costume contest wearing another company's mask. And I said, I'm going to make a mask to win these costume contests. And it just evolved from there. The retail guy, the Party Palace guy, saw the mask I sculpted, wanted to know if he could carry it in the store, and it just took off from there.
And then you just had one fan, and then you made more masks.
Oh, yes. It's funny. Yeah, it's evolved slowly but quickly. I don't know. It's hard to explain, but yeah, it was a fun ride to get where we are today.
And are you all from this area, or?
I was born in Colorado. Whoa. I didn't grow up here, but yeah, I was born here. Not in Greeley, but Colorado Springs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Moved here a long time ago.
Oh, yeah. We both moved here in the early 70s.
Yeah. I came up here to go to college, but I grew up in Long Grove, Illinois, and moved to Colorado with my folks. And so we really like Colorado, and we really like Greeley. Greeley has become such a great place lately. I think it's snuck up on everybody. It's really a great place to live and raise a family and make monsters.
I have been here since July of 2014, and it's not the same city.
No.
That when I moved
It's
here.
not.
Yeah.
It's and quite honestly, I don't want to make any enemies, but when I was going to college, I had no intention of staying here. And it just kept getting better and better and better. And nowadays, with all the stuff they've got going on downtown and things, it's really a great place to live. It's not too gigantic, but it's not so small. It's just perfect for us anyway.
So what type of customers do you all have these days with Distortions Unlimited?
We're pretty diversified as far as customers. We have just home haunter people, just buying our stuff for their houses, decoration, on up to big amusement parks and big attractions around the world, actually, and everything in between.
Yeah, and we send product out to crazy places. I mean, it's like, isn't that like a war-torn place or something? But people buy our stuff all over the world. And we sell to some really fun people like Dick Van Dyke and Alice Cooper. We do a lot of stuff for Alice Cooper. We were just out at Dick Van Dyke's October 31st, helping him do his Halloween thing. He's done a Halloween thing since he was in the 50s or 60s every year.
Right.
The kind of business we're in is afforded us a lot of opportunities to have some magic moments in our lives.
Yeah, and of course retail stores. Our stuff is a little bit higher end, so it tends to sell online better, like through online stores and so forth. But yeah, retail stores, and then we have a big distributor in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Morris Costumes.
Yeah, Morris Costumes buys a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
People will definitely have to check out the Instagram to see it for themselves, but this is not like a typical Halloween costume, a Halloween mask that people may buy. I mean, you all could easily be employed by professional Hollywood films.
Yeah, we want our stuff to look like it. Because so much of it, it's a great value for what you're spending, but so much of the Halloween stuff that is out there retail is just awful, and it's like, we are doing it, but it costs more, obviously. I mean, it's all handcrafted and stuff, but it's the alternative to, just something cheap to put on your porch.
However, the difference between film and us is our stuff has to be used over and over and over again, like in haunted houses. When we build something, it's got to be super tough so that it can operate not only through a season but through years.
Yeah.
Whereas a film, that thing is used for the film.
It just has to be perfect. They could have 16 guys with toggles and things making it look good. But as an example, we did the first animatronic we did was an electric chair. And we just put a big old motor and a pulley and just thrashed this thing to death and added smoke and screaming and so forth. And that product changed our business and kind of changed the haunt industry, because at the time it was all kind of charity driven, cheap, black plastic, mass from the store. And it kind of made a paradigm shift that changed the industry and us, but we had a lot of learning to do because that thing was so violent. I think we replaced over 100 bodies that first year because it would just throw the head off eventually. It would just everybody was real good about it. They'd laugh and say, boy, I wish I could do that every time. It really worked great. But anyway, that's when we went from Halloween Mass and started doing animatronics. We had to totally reinvent the company. And it's been a fun ride, but it's a lot of work.
What do you mean you had to reinvent?
Well, because all we did was Halloween Mass. You pour liquid rubber into a plaster mold, pull it out, and paint it. Well, now we had to make these things talk and thrash and smoke and have control systems and air cylinders, and so it's still monsters, but very different.
Yeah, after Mass, though, we also did big displays, so we kind of moved from Mass to big displays. We had the alien license, and so we did the big Queen Alien and
16-foot.
Yeah, and so we had moved into some big stuff. They just weren't moving yet. And then in around 95, 96, we started moving stuff. So now we do everything we still do some masks and stuff, but primarily animatronics.
Well, that's one of the things that's a little different about our company was we do it all. We try to supply the retailers, the home haunters, the pros, museums, Ripley's, believe it or not, anywhere, anything. We're terrible capitalists, man. If we can make a buck, we'll do it.
Well, I saw some of your work was featured in this really neat miniature golf course. You did multiple items for them, including I saw that you've done multiple T-Rex.
Yes. Yeah, in fact, there's a T-Rex down at Waterworld in Denver. We did the first one for them, and then there's what's the adventure mini golf down in Denver?
Yes.
Yeah, we did this giant tree face. They made the tree, and we made this face that talked and opened its eyes and had a couple of skunks that would spin around and squirt you and stuff. So it's, we've done a variety of really fun stuff.
And then there's a monster mini golf down in Denver, South Denver too. Maybe that's what you saw. Blacklight.
Oh,
yeah.
Monster mini golf.
I saw that as well.
We have a couple of pieces in there too.
Yeah.
I like how you all name drop Alice Cooper and Dick Van Dyke.
Like
they're
name
just
drop. Well,
here in Greeley.
That's
but I wanted to ask about both of them on your website because that's super neat.
Well, and they're super neat. I don't care, like Alice Cooper's stage persona and stuff. He is actually a really cool guy. He's a very nice guy. Dick Van Dyke's a super nice guy. I always say to me when I met him, he was like Robert Petrie from the Dick Van Dyke Show. He's that kind of guy. Yeah, that's some of the highlight kind of stuff for us to get to meet these people and work with these people. And make no mistake, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of hard work. And we work like dogs trying to figure out what people are going to want and then make it and try to get it to them on time. And so it has its moments, but at the end of the day, it's just a lot of work.
Yeah.
But very cool, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Fun work.
Oh, absolutely. You all seem like right up Rob Zombie's alley. I'm surprised he hasn't contacted you.
Well,
and
Rob...
did some stage work.
The guy that does most of Rob Zombie's stage stuff is actually a kid. Well, he's not a kid anymore, but I met him as a kid. We had our shop in Kersey. He came out for 1 week, and he had tried to sculpt some things, didn't know what to do exactly, and so forth. And so his dad spent a week in a hotel, and we trained him how to sculpt. Didn't hear from him for many years, 10, 15 years. And next time I saw him, he had a resume, and there's Distortions first on the resume. And he had done Nightmare on Elm Street and all this stuff, and phenomenal artist. So he's doing Rob Zombie stuff. So, yeah, in a way, we have a slight connection to Rob Zombie, but...
Right. And when did you all move to Greeley? You mentioned you had a Kersey shop.
We were in Greeley before that.
Right. Greeley first, then Kersey for about 7 years. We had it was an old grocery store we were in, and because we needed a lot of space, then we moved back to Greeley.
Yeah, Kersey was the 80s. I think it was 83 to 89. We moved back to Greeley in 89, and that's the year of the Batman. We did a huge run of Batman when that movie first came out. So yeah,
that was a different Distortions. That we had 75 employees, and we had a conveyor system, and we had 400-foot tables, 250-foot tables. We were renting all sorts of buildings and things to pull it off, but we actually made over 100,000 Batman pieces in, 14 weeks or something?
Yeah, it was a short.
It hit. We had just bolted this equipment down, and Batman hit, and that was a phenomenon for us, whole thing.
So were these pieces for the film or just for fans?
No, just for retail. Just to sell retail.
Just a Batman craze of 89.
Yeah, 89.
Yeah, it was actually a really big thing. I remember Batman being on the news and stuff. It was just a kind of one of those phenomenal films that people really liked, and so we were part of that mess.
Right. And just side note, I was just thinking, over the years, it's amazing how many people in Greeley have worked for us. They've gone through the shop, because a lot of these guys start as teens, and they're pouring, and they're doing stuff, and or painting or whatnot. So, we run into a lot of people that, I used to work for you.
Yeah, I don't know how many. We may have employed thousands of people over the years. But it's funny, people come in, of course, they know where they are, and they know who we are, even though we're older now and things. But they'll say, "Hi, I'm so-and-so. Do you remember me?" And I'm like, "No." And, "Well, I came through a tour with my school in 3rd grade or something." It's like, come on.
I'm not going to remember you.
Yeah, I'm going to. You've changed totally, dude.
Yeah. Well, it's such a fascinating job to have on your resume. And this is one of the questions I'm sure for you all, after this much time and all of these pieces are things that you've made, it's not unnerving or weird or scary to walk back there. But for someone like myself, just walking in, there was this tall figure that was right behind the door, and that alone kind of scared me. There are some photos on your website of a huge scale set of multiple very intimidating and scary pieces, and they're all just lined up in the warehouse. For me, that'd be a scary place to turn the lights out, and I'd probably run out of here after I was done with my shift.
It means absolutely nothing to us. It's kind of like cartoons to us. And we lose track of that. Like I'm splatting blood all over in the paint room or something. But I will admit, when we were in Kersey, there was a basement where we did a lot of painting and stuff, and it was a little bit creepy down there, because it was an old building and things. But no, the monsters are not scary to us at all. It's just rubber. It's just art.
Right. So all I see is a finished product, but you saw it from paper to, dark gray.
Yeah. Well, parents have brought their children in that are afraid of monsters to hopefully show them that, see, they just make this stuff. It's made out of stuff like rubber bands, and it's all pretend, and it helps some kids. Some are just mortified. They can't get over it, but
it helps them to touch it, feel it. Ooh.
And it's so hard for me to resist going, when
they're reaching out to touch it?
Yes, I love scaring people, children, doesn't matter. There's the little, I don't know, a little bad boy in me or something, but yeah, that's what the business is, basically, is one big boo. It's what it's designed for.
Yeah. We never circled back, but I do want to ask. In 1992, the two of you exchanged vows and were married. So, Marsha, how did you meet Ed and come into this business?
Oh, well, I was working part-time in the early 80s. I was actually at UNC.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, I was working on my master's in biology, getting teaching certification also. So I was in the education department. And
very familiar.
yes, you are very familiar.
Wonderful school, by the way.
Yes. So anyway, working part-time, we used to paint together and just continued on, and I left biology and stayed with Distortions. So
Just were brought in
that's
by
how that happened.
Brought in by Ed and the Monsters.
That's
and
right,
Fell in love and
Well,
Well,
yeah.
that's right. We fell in love splatting blood together. It's a wonderful place to start a romance.
Yeah, and I just love, we both love running our own business. That's
Yeah.
a huge thing. And then the creativity that this business offers is just awesome. So.
Yeah, it's almost unlimited. I mean, other businesses that are artistic, let's say you're doing stuff for Christmas, very narrow. You can't, we don't have many perimeters. I guess we couldn't go too friendly too much, but like those guys are kind of cute, the little elves, and so we
in a scary
sort of way.
we didn't mean it. We meant to make them cute, but we have a little trouble with that. But we've got a Santa that's pretty cute, and
Well, we're actually getting into Christmas. There's a Christmas show that's opening next year in conjunction with the Halloween show. So we actually are going to be doing more and more Christmas stuff also, and hopefully friendly.
Right.
We'll see.
We're going to try.
We're
Yeah,
going
we're
to
gonna
try.
do our
This
best.
is a good
but-
blend over here.
yeah,
I would not put that out in December. But
we just did. Sorry.
no, it's great. I wouldn't expect anything else.
Right, you should get a picture of yourself by that display. That
Yes.
is so weird. It's a little candy dish, Andromeda candy dish with two elves and an alien.
Yeah.
That's something.
Yeah, it's just so neat to have these pieces in your office. I can only imagine what the warehouse looks like.
Oh
right
yeah,
now.
it's a big crazy mess
We'll
of
show you.
monsters.
Yeah. Do y'all have, in the memory banks or even today, do you have favorite projects you've got to work on or things that just like, it was a great challenge and it turned out well?
Well, lots of things.
I really loved the Queen project, Queen Alien.
Yeah.
That was our first really, really big piece. And
We sent an employee to England. They had filmed Aliens in Pinewood Studios in England. So he went. The molds were still in existence, and they poured one up for the trade show, and then sent the molds to America, and that was quite an impressive piece. That was really something.
Yeah, if anyone has seen the Alien films, I mean, the Queen
Yes.
is so elaborate and all these pieces. Was it for the premiere of the movie, or what did you all make the
No,
model
it's just to buy. You could buy this piece of movie history,
Oh, wow.
and they were expensive, but really for what people were getting, they're pretty reasonable. I don't know, what were they, 18,000 or something?
somewhere around then,
Yeah,
And people buying these.
Yes.
That is phenomenal.
yeah.
18,000 for this Queen. That's
Yeah.
very
She was
cool.
beautiful, yeah.
Yeah, it's really, really art. I think sometimes people won't look at what we do as art, but it's extremely artistic to me. Now, yes, there's a craftsmanship side to the replication, but we'll bring out Hollywood special effects artists to do some of the sculpting when it's important, like Jordu Shell, who did Avatar for Jim Cameron and things. There's some phenomenal sculptors that we use that really can bring a monster to life.
A little off track, but yeah, we've done events too. We did Brutal Planet in Denver for 3 years, so we've actually ran events as far as things we've enjoyed and so forth. We're doing Monster Day now. The city of Greeley is actually doing Monster Day, but we have a lot to do with that.
Yeah, what is Monster Day for people who are not familiar? Because sadly, I found out about you all literally like 3 or 4 days after Monster Day.
Oh.
I
Well,
just
here's
missed
the
it.
sad thing. It's the timing. The best timing is right as UNC begins for the year and before Monster Day. But Monster Day is one of those crazy grassroots things that's just taken on a life of its own. I was shocked. We came up with the idea, presented it to the city. The city loved it, which that was the first shocker. Usually they're like, what? You want to have people in monster costumes running around the streets of Greeley? What's that? And
911 will be busy that day.
yeah, that's right. Well, it's funny to show them what it would be like to have a really good monster on the streets. Our first meeting was at a restaurant downtown, and so I put on a mask and a costume and walked into the meeting, and I was thinking, okay. I took off the mask and say, okay, now here comes the sales pitch. They were already, and everybody was there. The Chamber, Greeley Welcoming, Greeley Unexpected, DDA, they were all there. And they're like, okay, what are we doing? They
That's
had
it.
already sold themselves on the idea just from hearing it, which, again, coming back to Greeley, says miles about Greeley and some of the leadership in Greeley, because this is a weird thing. This is usually something to take a lot of arm twisting to explain. No, it'll be good. Really, it'll be good. And they bought into it and got behind it. And so it's just taken off. I mean, it's people are coming from all over the country. I mean, not hordes of them, but people are coming from Florida and LA and to this little party, this 6-hour party. Hopefully it'll be a little longer.
It's a little longer this year, yeah.
And vendors are showing up and things. So and they're actually doing well. That's one of my concerns was, well, Greeley, Colorado, we've had vendors say, oh man, this is my best show ever. And it's like, really? Really? Downtown Greeley for 6 hours? It's really a fun thing, and it's a very unusual thing, and we're hoping to take the show on the road in the next few years, but it's just a hoot. It's a fun thing.
So this is an annual event, and it's in early October every year?
No, it's actually August.
It's in August, that's right.
Yes.
August 17th this year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think it's well worth seeing. Now, I would not recommend people come from California, but if you're living in northern Colorado, it is well worth coming to see.
Listeners of the show, next August,
yes,
Monster Day, right?
Yes.
Okay. And I think it would be a travesty if we did not cover your all's television show that you had for 3 seasons, right?
Yes.
And it was called Making Monsters, and it was hosted by the Travel Channel.
Yes.
I hadn't even known about it until I heard about you all here, and I'm like, what?
Oh,
These people are in Greeley, Distortions Unlimited, and I just blew my mind.
Well, Making Monsters was a little bit of an oddball thing. Television, I don't know if you're aware of this, but reality TV is not real. It's all faked. Yeah. It's all scripted. And I should say all. It's not totally true, but it's almost totally true. And so these guys came to us, that a production company that had just started up from Missoula, Montana, and they wanted to do this show. And so Marsha and I are like, well, but we don't want to cuss, we don't want to fight. That's not us. And besides, we're not actors.
That's not going to be West Coast choppers.
Yes. No. And they said, no, that's not what we want. We just want to open the door to your industry, to the world. And they pretty much stayed true to that and just let us be ourselves. And of course, they were artists. The Warm Springs, a tremendously artistic company as far as editing and so forth. And so what they produced, I think, was a really great TV. Well worth watching if you like monsters, even a little. But a lot of people, not even into monsters, love the show because they just did such a great job of showing what our industry is and what we do. It's great.
Just chronicling the day-to-day of the business and different orders that were coming in.
Yes.
Right.
The process of making these things.
And the people we work with.
Making Monsters was process, basically, They showed what we did every day, what projects we were working on. Because it was on travel, we had to travel to the customer's site. So, like, if we were making a big, giant skeleton, which we did, we traveled out there. They covered that. They covered the installation. And, it's really interesting. And what we really enjoyed the most was it was a family show. The kids loved it. The families loved it. So we really appreciated that Warm Springs, they didn't try to push, like Ed said, conflicts.
Fake drama. Yeah. It's nothing worse.
Yeah. Just the reverse, they showed how problems were solved, and so they did a great job.
Yeah, it was wonderful. It was one of those rare life opportunities that we both thoroughly enjoyed. A lot of work. People don't realize, especially the way they did that show, since it wasn't scripted, they made up for that by filming just hundreds and hundreds of hours. In fact, I was talking to somebody at a trade show, and I said, they were talking about it, and I said, I bet they film 100 hours for every episode. Lisa Tanzer, the showrunner, heard me, and she stepped up. She goes, actually, that's incorrect. We film 10 hours for every minute. Now, you think about that. If somebody filmed you for 10 hours and expertly edited it down to a minute, you would seem like the most amazing person in the world, and your life is so wonderful, and you're so funny. And that's how they pulled it off. They just filmed us being ourselves, and occasionally funny things happen. And
I mean, there was definitely some scripting and stuff, but when they were here, which was average maybe 2 weeks a month, just average, so they were like family.
Yeah.
So we miss those guys, but they're great. But anyway, while the crew was here filming, we had to film and all that during the day. we were still doing production, but we had to really make up production then. So we were like double
was
working,
worth it.
but it was worth it. Yeah,
because you wanted to have a lot to do while the crew was here filming.
Yeah, there was just a lot to do. I mean, the filming aspect of it takes time. So.
Yeah, because they'd take you up in the room, and I'd spend 2 hours doing an interview talking about what we're doing, and so it pulls you away and so forth. But it was well worth it. You ought to put a couple links.
I shall. I will
because,
definitely do so.
Because here's the problem. Imagine if we were here, you were interviewing us because we had found a new color nobody's ever seen, and we're trying to describe this thing. And you say, well, and you're like, is it like blue? No, it's not like. Well, is it like purple? No, you can't without seeing it. Yeah. And our company is all visuals, and so it would help people to travel the distance of what we do, because we've had family members, we've talked about the business for years and years, until they came to Distortions, they didn't understand at all what we did, and we're shocked by that. Well, we brought catalogs and stuff. I didn't know you made this stuff from a liquid. How did you figure I did it? It's that kind of thing.
Was it strange that first episode? You sat down and you saw yourselves on national TV and
Oh, wow, that was so much fun. We actually, the first time we saw the first episode was in Missoula because they had a premiere party.
Right.
The production company did. So we all went out to Missoula, and so that was fun because it was a big party.
We brought the whole crew out to watch this episode in a bar, and we had to get up at like 5 in the morning to catch a plane. And I walk into an airport, and this guy walks up to me, and he goes, "Are you like on a monster show or something?" It's like,
wow.
Oh, man.
It happened
5 in the
fast.
morning. Yeah, it was. Now, there was hundreds of other people at the airport that didn't recognize us, but that's been fun for people to sort of know us. I mean, they don't really know us, but they sort of do know us, and you've got all these people that are aware of what you do and who you are, and that's pretty fun.
Yeah, this is such a neat, fascinating business, and I'm sad that I didn't know about you all further back in time, being here in Greeley. And
you can catch up.
Yeah, it's something I'm very excited for listeners of the show to find out
Well,
about.
and there's so much. I mean, if your listeners are artistically minded, we do Monster Lab, shows you step by step how to make these things, and in very simple form. It's not hard. And we've got Monster Tales that tell stories about things, and we've got all sorts of product videos and things. So there is tons of information on the internet.
So on our YouTube channel and so forth,
yeah.
We put up Monster Lab, Monster Tales, different stuff. And we also do tours. You just have to contact us, contact Janine, and she schedules tours.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah, so if people are interested in coming by for a tour, is there a phone number? Is it email?
Yeah.
Yeah. The phone number is 970-351-0100. Janine will set them up, or they could email us at Distortions also.
Yeah.
Yeah, Distortions, UNLTD at AOL.com.
Okay, UNLTD at AOL.com.
Yes, and it's abbreviation for unlimited.
Right.
And forewarning on tours, the only blockout time is September, October, generally, because we're slammed with work. We're just so busy we don't do tours then. But the rest of the year, Janine tries to schedule people into little
blocks
groups.
so we can take bigger groups through. And but if somebody's from out of town and they want to see it, man, we'll let them in. So.
Right. I was curious if the types of orders you got transcended times a year, or if you just in the monster making business, if you couldn't get away from Halloween as always, your typical ramp up every year.
There is a ramp up, but we stay busy all year round.
Yeah.
It never ends. There was an era where it would go soft for a while, but boy, anymore it just never stops.
Yeah, August, September, October is more crisis.
People are just more desperate, but we're
desperate.
We're
people.
busy all year, but they're like,
Right. Thank you both for your time.
Oh,
Thank
you are
you.
very welcome.
Yeah, it was a pleasure, and I'm excited to get a quick walk around here.
Yeah,
All
let's
right.
go see the monsters.
Let's.
Yay!
Hopefully I won't run out and panic.
Well, they are hungry, so we'll see.
Do you also enjoy the music used here at the More You NoCo? I want to shout out my good friend Russell Isaac Long for always giving us those hot fire tracks. Are you looking for a little bit of bonus content in addition to the episodes of the More You NoCo? Check us out on Facebook or Instagram at the More You NoCo. Original, right? Don't worry, we'll be back soon. Until next time, peace!